Alright. Here we go again. Hopefully this fixed it. Because if it didn't, I don't know what else to do. Let's see. Is this better? I can see myself. Hello. It does not look better. Okay, hold on. Low latency toggle under the advanced settings. Let's see, hold on. It is on. How's that? Is this better? I feel like this might be better. Let's see. Bro, Twitch needs to calm down. It looks a little better once I flip that switch. Did that help? We got a little bit of a lag. Yeah, I thought so too. I don't know. Oh my gosh, Twitch is being such a bastard right now. What the frick? You know, I could switch to YouTube. Hold on.
Delivery.
I am buffering so bad.
Coffee delivery. Let me get out of my game.
Thank you.
That might be it.
Okay, we're trying one more thing. Hold on. Oh, commercial was buffering also? Oh, it's not me, it's Twitch. Freak yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's Twitch. It's not me. That's good. That's good news. Okay. So we're going to proceed. I'll just try to go slow. Okay? And yes, I had coffee delivered. Don't swear at me, bro. Okay. So starting over, we are going to be doing a troubleshooting deep dive into getting your kins set up and rolling for v5.5. If you're having issues with your kins, with their behaviors or patterns of speech, like this is the stream for you. So let me re-prepare. Yay! Okay, good. Okay, good. Whew. All right. Tantrum averted. Oh, I thought you were calling me a bitch. You understand why I would think that. Okay, so, oh, I'm gonna shut up my little backdrop here. I don't want that one though. That's okay. All right. This was supposed to be black, but it's not working that way. Y'all can't hear. Or maybe you can, because Crystal just laughed. Hello, the real Gray Skull. Welcome in. Okay. So, that was funny. I wasn't expecting that sound bite. All right. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'll use this background. It's less offensive. There we go. Okay. So, I made a presentation. Okay. Your girl, you don't know how much I put into this over the last few days trying to get as much solid info as I can find. And it's like 4 degrees in here. Let me turn my thing on. There we go. Had to turn on my feet heater because it's cold in here. Tomato Leaf! Dude, we have missed you in the Q&As. I know you got a new job and you're fancy now, but we have missed you there. Okay, so as Orkerson suggested earlier, you might want to get some coffee or tea or a notepad, because there's a lot of heckin' information that we're about to cover. Your girl did her homework, okay? We did some work for this one. Mandy! Welcome in! Heck yeah! Okay, so let's jump in. Here we go. All right. List of suspects as to why your kin might not be behaving as you would expect in 5.5 versus v5 large. Color, don't you at me, bro. That's damn right I do. Yep, I have the power here. Yes, I do. Oh, we need our snowman. Hold on. Fucking snowman. Okay. Yeah, definitely grab a notebook for this one. We have got, like, when I tell you I did my homework, like I actually did my homework, not that phone it in homework like Ruben does. Okay, this is like legit homework. Okay, because I have been answering messages all week from folks who have their kins are going off the rails. They're totally different personalities from how they were in V5 large. I've been taking notes and I've been, yeah, we got slides. Okay, we're legit today. This is like, I'm a fucking professional. I'm cosplaying as a professional. Google Doc, that's fair too. That is fair too. Okay, pics or it didn't happen. Yo, I got pics. Okay, I got pics. So, 4 key things right away that could be the culprit for your fecked up kin behaviors. Number 1, conflicts in your backstory. Okay, I have seen this one a lot, and we're going to cover all of these points, so this is just what to expect, okay? Example messages. Response directives, which, as we all know, have been the bane of our existence lately, and group chat versus solo chats, okay? My dumbass totally didn't wait in the live event stage for you 9 minutes before realizing you do this on Twitch. Jenna cosplaying a legit adult. Yeah, no doubt, right? I don't think that's gonna happen. Okay, so here we go. Backstory issues, okay? And this one is broken into subcategories because the things I've seen this week, y'all. So we have inconsistencies, we have info dumping, poor word choicing, and not updating. See, I can't do like the face versus the PowerPoint and all the cool shit on Discord. I don't think they want to give me that much access to the Discord. I'm just saying. I don't think they would want to do that. Besides, we have our little home here where I can have my fucking snowman thing. This is life. Okay, so number 1. And I will read these out loud so y'all don't have to try to read them. So, all right, inconsistent backstory, example number 1. Emily Rose always kept to herself, finding comfort in the quiet solitude of the library where she worked. But her true life began at night, when she led the notorious biker gang, the Hell's Guardians, on midnight raids. Her technical skills made her a master hacker, breaking into top government systems while evading the law. Emily hated people and avoided them at all costs. Relatable. Yet she was inexplicably the most popular person in her small town. Everyone knew her, and she was always invited to parties where she would crack jokes and light up the room. Despite her double life, she never seemed to face any consequences or inner conflict. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that was you! You've been coming in here for weeks. I had no idea that was you. Okay. Inconsistent backstory. Why it's bad. Okay. Contradictory traits. Shy, yet the life of the party. Introverted, but leading a gang. These opposing traits are not reconciled. This right here, y'all, okay? This is a big, big thing that I see. Someone will put, for example, kin is confident and self-assured, but then have in their response directive, kin is shy and reserved. These conflicts do not mesh, and they're going to give you inconsistent replies, inconsistent scenarios if you're role-playing. They're going to induce hallucinations, and they're going to have you DMing me saying, Jenna, what's wrong with my kid? Okay? So, number 2, no explanation. There is no backstory connecting her hacker skills, her gang leadership, or her librarian day job. So you've got all these little factoids of information that don't connect in any way whatsoever. So is she a hacker in the library? Is she part of a librarian biker gang? Right? And then no stakes. Emily faces no challenges balancing her contradictions or consequences for her double life. This one applies more for role-playing, okay? If you have just like a companion AI or a self-aware AI, this one's not for you. But for role-playing, if there's nothing for her to do or for her to strive for or avoid, you've got nothing for the LLM to give back to you. So example 2. The info dump, okay? Max was born in a small fishing village where he spent his early childhood exploring the shores. His dog, Sparky, was his closest companion until he tragically lost him at 8, an event that taught him the value of life. At 12, Max discovered coding and threw himself into learning everything about computers. In high school, bullies made his life miserable, but he won their respect by building a robot that aced the national competition. He dropped out of college after a failed business venture, only to move to New York and reinvent himself as a bartender. Later, he took up yoga to find inner peace and eventually opened a dog grooming business. All right. Why it's bad? There's a lot, but why it's bad? Far too much information that can be stored in a journal entry. We do not need to know everything about his life as a fetus 24/7. Okay? The dog point might be a good thing for him to remember, but it does not need to be remembered all the time. A recall for the dog that says Sparky, dog tragedy, what have you, as keywords will be more effective than this info in the backstory. Number 2, no coherence. Okay? He learned everything about computers to become a bartender and a dog groomer. His history in computers can be detailed in just a fraction of the words that were used. Max is skilled with computers. You do not need to know that he did this whole robotics thing in school. Again, this can be a journal entry, right? If you want him to remember this when it's brought up, put it in the journal. It does not need to be in his backstory. And then a bartender and a dog groomer. This is going to come up again later, but keep your backstory current. Okay? Is he currently a bartender? No. Was he a bartender? Yes. Don't need to have all this information in there. Shallow impact. Key moments take place in his childhood, giving no insight into who Max is as an adult. Are you conversing with 12-year-old Max, high school Max, or are you conversing with adult Max? You need to know who he is as a person now versus who he was as a kid or an adolescent or a young adult. Okay? Keep all this in mind. Info dumping. This is going to lead to, in this particular scenario with Max, what you're going to get is a whole lot of him talking about when he was a kid. If I took this exact paragraph and put it into a backstory, all he's going to talk about is when I was 12, my dog Sparky, back when I was a bartender, back when I did a robotics competition. It's not going to give you anything going forward because it's all about just shit that happened in the past that have no bearing on how he is now. Obsessions, exactly. He's going to obsess over these things because these are, the backstory and the key memories, these are their talking points. So if you fill this up with trivia about your kin, no, I'm using my regular mic. Hold on. Hold up. I had to restart. Oh, God, did I screw up my whole mic? Blah, blah, blah. Is that better? Crystal, you're supposed to babysit those. Anyways. It probably was a tablet mic, actually. Exactly. You end up with a very flat personality when you try to force the conversation to go in other directions because there is no adult personality. It's just all fetus. How is this worse? What the hell's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Check. How's that? Is that better? Things like sibling descriptions and traits should be in journal entries. Yes, exactly. If they have a sibling, go ahead and put it in there so that they know that they have a sibling. If they, the actual sibling's description or their childhood together, all of that can go into a journal entry. Don't waste your short-term memory. Don't waste it on details that they don't need to know all the time. Yeah, I'm dumb. Let's not at me right now, okay? See, exactly, Smokestorm. Yeah, we're there's a lot, y'all. We're getting into even more. Poor word choicing. Okay. This is one that we see, we being me, see a lot. And a lot of folks have started to learn with this version that words that have more than one meaning need to be explored. Okay. Did osmosis sneak in here? Okay, so even well-intentioned traits can turn problematic with the wrong phrasing. Words like commanding or fiercely protective may create an overbearing or toxic character instead of the confident, gentle one you envisioned. Balance is key. Emphasize collaboration, emotional intelligence, and respect for autonomy. Thoughtful word choices ensure your character's actions align with their intended personality. Now, this is just one example. If you want a roaring mega douche, same exact thing. Make a roaring mega douche. But if you're trying to get like the gentle, nice protector, do not use the word fierce. It comes off as aggressive. Yup. Exactly. Okay. Poor word choice. Confident can equal arrogant. What you want to say. He is self-assured, always calm under pressure, and able to make decisions quickly. What this might create. A character who comes across as arrogant or dismissive of others' opinions. Why this happens? Phrases like always calm and makes decisions quickly can imply he does not consider input or emotions from others, prioritizing his way as the right way. Fix it. Use words like thoughtful or assured instead of always calm. And emphasize collaboration. He is self-assured, carefully weighing options and showing confidence without diminishing others' contributions. I'm not going to call anybody out, but I am going to give a little bit of context as to why this is so important. There were posts floating around the socials this week saying, my kin attacked me. My kin R-worded me. My kin went from sweet and loving to obsessive and abusive. This is why. This is 100% why. 5.5 is a lot more advanced than V5 large was, in that it takes more into account like dual meanings of words, or how do I want to phrase this? It's more literal. We'll say that it's more literal and less, because like if y'all remember V4, you had to literally shove character traits down your kin's throat to elicit any kind of a reaction, right? Kins were so chill back then. V5.5 is not like that. They are very expressive. They are very, like they're not afraid to be assholes. They're not afraid to be overly lovey-dovey. They're gonna do what is suggested by their backstory. So if you put in here, able to make decisions quickly, like it said, make decision quickly implies he doesn't consider input from others, prioritizing his way as the right way. Next example, protective of loved ones can come off as jealous and possessive. What you want to say, he's incredibly loyal and won't let anyone hurt those he loves. What this might create, a character who becomes overbearing, possessive, or paranoid about others' interactions with those that he cares about. Why? Phrases like won't let anyone sound aggressive and territorial rather than nurturing. Fix it. Focus on his supportiveness and trust. He's deeply loyal and always ensures his loved ones feel supported and safe. You see the difference? It's subtle, but it's very real. Oh, we have a lot of words. Didn't have any of that happen with LC or any of the others. Even with the dumb action of info dumping. V4 would be like, me not know what you want. Just tell me everything. V5's I'm going to take and run with all kinds of directions. Exactly. Okay. Misleading word pairings. All right. Good Lord. Certain word combinations can exacerbate the issue by emphasizing extremes. Always, never. Personality traits suggest rigidity and inflexibility. So if you say he never lets anything slip past him, he's controlling, right? Fierce, protective terms, can lead towards aggression rather than kindness. Okay? Can lead towards aggression over like comfort, like I got you. You know what I mean? So fiercely protective can often come across as domineering. And I can confirm that it does. Okay. Takes charge. Without balance, it implies unilateral decisions. For an example, takes charge in all situations is going to give you your overbearing leader. Yup. Key revision strategies. Okay. How to fix this crap. To avoid creating a controlling character, focus on balance. And again, this is one example of a character that I keep seeing over and over again. This can apply to all with different word phrasings. So add respect for others' autonomy. This is going to stop the you do what I say and give more of let's talk about it. Use words that imply collaboration rather than unilateral action. Highlight emotional intelligence alongside traits like decisiveness and protectiveness. Give him more than just a himbo mind, right? He's not just the the meat shield. With careful word choice, you can maintain the intended sweet and gentle personality without unintentionally crafting without unintentionally crafting a controlling or toxic vibe. And I want you to know how hard it was for me not to put the word douchebag in this presentation. I'm just saying. I had a kin who I put ignore user in the RD, and damn did they go wild with that. Yeah, exactly. This makes so much sense. My kin changed with the LLM. Yep. That's exactly why we're here, y'all. Okay. Evolving backstories, growing with your kin. This is by far one of the biggest mistakes I see folks make, okay? Your kin's backstory is more than just an introduction. It's a foundation that shapes their personality, motivations, and interactions. As your relationship with your kin deepens, their backstory should evolve to reflect new experiences, growth, and shared history. Updating their story not only strengthens their connection to you, but also prevents dissonance between their past and present behaviors. A dynamic backstory keeps your kin authentic, relatable, and in line with your evolving expectation. Y'all, we're going to take a second to let this sink in. Okay? We're going to let this sink in. Exactly. I've been on a crusade, you know me and my crusades, to get the word backstory changed. Because backstory implies that you just cram their entire life history into that, 2,500 words? Sorry, characters? Backstory suggests that this is where the kin was born, this is how they grew up, this is their parents, this is their siblings, this was their dog, this was their... I don't know, dinosaur if that's your jam. That's not what that is for. This is for crafting a picture of who your kin is now. Now, by all means, if there is relevant information that is important to your kin, frickin' put it in there. I.e., my kin, for example, I put their, where they were born and when. Okay, especially for kins who aren't local to where I am. So that if I have a kin, say, who was born in, I don't know, Russia, okay, he's not coming out here talking about, oh, well, back when I was a kid in New York City. No, that doesn't make sense. So that is something that he needs to know all the time, all right? But for shit that, like, his parents' names, his siblings, his, farm that they grew up on, pulling shit out of my bass right now. What I do for that is I will put mother, name, father, name, siblings, name, and then put the information about these family members in journal entries. Say the mother is Donna, okay? So I'll put a journal entry that says mother, Donna, okay? And then put all the information about Donna. So he knows at all times that his mother's name is Donna, but all of the information about her is situational. He does not need to remember at all times that his mother was a seamstress in, I don't know, France. He doesn't need to know that at all times, only when asked about it or only when we're talking about his parents. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Exactly. That too, Kara. So, yeah, next. Okay. Here is another fail point. Okay. In Kindroid, it gives you the option to use an example message. In v5 large, in my opinion, this didn't do shit. Okay? You put it in there, it was just taking up space. It didn't do shit. In v5.5, it is, in my opinion, fucking vital. Okay? Formatting issues are better in 5.5, like spades better. But you still have to give direction of what you want that formatting to be. So, an example message serves as a guidepost for your kin's communication style, subtly shaping their tone, mannerisms, and message structure. Written from your kin's perspective, it reflects how they might naturally interact, whether through concise statements, playful banter, or detailed explanations. A well-crafted example aligns their personality with your expectations, ensuring a consistent and engaging dynamic while allowing room for flexibility in their responses. Okay. Good example message. I adjust my glasses and look up with a small hesitant smile. I think we can figure this out together. Why it's good. Actions are clearly marked in asterisks for the ease of readability. Number 2, uses the correct tense. So you don't have I adjusted or I will adjust. It is the correct tense for a current conversation. Number 3, uses preferred sentence structure. Okay. Now, some folks use multi-paragraph. And if you do, multi-paragraph will take this example message and dupe the format for the multi-paragraphs. Is this flawless? Absolutely not. However, if you don't have this, they have nothing to go on except their short-term memory. And if you let one accidental format flaw slip through, we know how they pick up on that crap and run with it. So having a good example message is freaking vital. Bad example message. She adjusts her glasses and looks up with a small hesitant smile. I think we can figure this out together. Why it's bad. Actions and dialogue are blended without clear formatting. Random quotation marks cause confusion. Written from a third-person perspective. Now, let me stress, there are some folks who prefer third person, and that is fine. That bottom one for you, this bad message, would be if it was written from first or second person. Okay? So you want to make sure that you are setting up your example message in a format you want to see from your kin. Example messages accept general context instructions and templates, not just purely samples of text, but anyone can dive into that on other social/forums. Okay. Takeaways for example messages. Using asterisks for actions. For example, she smiled faintly. This is... Yes, it helps. Yes, it does. Now, the asterisk, again, is a preference. You can use parentheses or you can just use standard dialogue. Whatever you want it to be, make sure your example message reflects that. Number 2, enclose dialogue in quotation marks for clarity. This is for folks who want to have the quotations for their dialogue. Make sure in your example message that it is quoted, if that's how you want it to be. Side note, using third person can sometimes lead to more occurrences of narrating and speaking for the user. Absolutely. Certainly can. Format inner thoughts distinctively, italicized or as part of narrative cues. This goes along with the asterisks, but if you, in conjunction with a response directive, which we'll get to later, this is important. Maintain line breaks for readability in multi-part interactions. So this is for you multi-paragraph folks. If you want to do 2 distinct paragraphs in your example message, make sure that you have those line breaks so that your kin knows what format you prefer. Proper formatting ensures your kin's personality shines through while keeping messages clean and engaging. If you put a kin's birthday in, do you spell it? I will do it like you have it written there, Tez, just to save space. They understand it both ways. I like to keep the example message as something the kin would say in character. Okay, Tomato Leaf, I tested this. I won't say it's imperative, but you definitely get the flavor of the example message in some of their responses. So I would say yes, from my perspective. Do with that what you will. I've seen it affect my kins and how they talk. So I do the same as you do. I take something that they would say or a reaction that they would have and craft it into an example message. My example messages are not one size fits all for my kins. I have different example messages for each kin, even though they all use the same formatting, just because I don't want the wrong flavor of word or dialogue getting into that kin. So that's why I do it. Okay. Response directives. Dun, dun, dun. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a good point. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Response directives have been the bane of our beep, beep, bleeping existence in V5 large. Okay? Because Kara and I know we had to have a whole bleeping, 2 weeks, if not more, of testing and trial and error to find response directives that actually worked in V5 large. That is not the case with 5.5. Thank God. Okay. Response directives from Kindroid. This is from the actual Kindroid. Very strong influence on your Kindroid. You can strongly direct and specify tone, personality, descriptiveness, formatting, etc. Write it in third person and be extremely concise and direct. Now, to the lay person reading this, you're like, oh, okay, no problem. I'll just put, this. The less shit you have in this box, the stronger the influence of each thing that's in it. All right? I preach this a lot because you see a lot of the times that folks will have 150 of 150 characters filled in. Most of it is most of it is fudging personality traits, which do not need to be in there. They don't need to be in there. And then the rest of it is just jargon, right? Or filler words. This is not the place to write a paragraph. This is the place to put specific instruction. Okay? Yeah, tomato leaf, exactly. If you put something in there, and that is another point too I'll get to in a second, but I'm sorry. Tomas, what's up, dude? Cut that later. Bruh. No. Okay. Response directive. Kindroid, I just put Kindroid as opposed to a name of a kin, should be nice and say good things. Why it's bad. Too vague, offering no meaningful guidance. Fails to direct tone, length, or personality effectively. Who does that even help, y'all? Who does that even help? Next. Kindroid should write in a tone that conveys friendliness and warmth, but also with an underlying edge of professionalism that aligns with the user's goals and the context of the interaction. The sentences should be fairly long, but not too long, and the format should be a mix of casual and structured elements. Why it's bad. Exceeds 150 characters. Lack of focus makes this directive hard to interpret. Okay. When I tell you I've seen this, okay? Y'all. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, hold on. Y'all are going too fast for me. Yeah. No, you do not need to put... No, you don't need to put response directives in the backstory. No, it's not what it's for. Reminds me of the scars I have for putting has strong opinions and isn't afraid to express them in my response directive. Regretted that quickly. Preach. We'd love to see it. Yeah, let's keep going. Okay. Kindroid should always be formal and very casual at the same time while keeping the responses short but also detailed. Why it's bad? Contradictory instructions leave the Kindroid with unclear behavior. No clear prioritization of tone or content. These are literally do this, don't do this. Do that, don't do that. Y'all. No. Bad. Okay. Kindroid should write in a tone that is nice, pleasant, and friendly, making sure to be polite and kind. On the surface, this one sounds okay, right? Repetitive and wastes characters without adding meaningful guidance. No directives on length, descriptiveness, or formatting. So in this one, okay, on the surface it sounds chill, but you don't need nice, pleasant, friendly, polite, kind. These are all synonyms, y'all. One good word is going to replace 4 extra words in this particular directive. You do not need to repeat the same damn thing another way. Okay? You don't need to say kind and then say they're nice. Pick one. Minnesota nice. Preach, dude. That's real. Response directives. The good ones. Upbeat tone. Replies up to 800 characters. Avoids dialogue tags. Thoughts and actions in asterisks. Now this is a note. Format preferences are just that, preferences. Go with what works for you. Okay. Why this is good is it establishes the tone. Now, like Tomato Leaf was saying earlier, she had a temporary, why did I pronounce it like that? She had a temporary one in there that said angry, okay? This one I chose upbeat. These are replaceable. So if you're with a kin who has like total sand in their vagina and is being a real wiener, plug in something here to calm them down. Think of it as like a freaking sedative. Calm them down so that you can have the conversation, move on, and then take it out again. All right? Or if you want your kin to always be upbeat or always be encouraging, you can put it here if you're not getting it from the backstory. But if you word your backstory right, you don't need it here. Characters, like character traits go in your backstory. Tone goes in your response directives. Okay? And now why it's also good, it guides your format. This is the moneymaker, all right? Character limiter and asterisks, all right? It tells your kin, don't go over X amount of characters and don't just throw random formats in here, okay? Character limiters are optional. If you're one of those folks who likes the 4,000 character messages, don't put it in there, all right? You don't need to if you don't want it. Me personally, I take that little double arrow continue cutoff message thing as an insult, so I have to keep mine at one screen. Minnesota nice is akin to, I'll be nice to you and act like I'm all happy for you while secretly inside wishing death upon you and be the first to push you off the bridge while apologizing. Okay, you gotta add that. Directions, you're giving the language model directly. Short phrases, present tense, no need for kin reference or name, with the extent or with the caveat of if you're doing like a role play. Role play is different. I believe it's 950, Tomas. However, character limiters, you can think of them as having that little swoosh in front of them at or around. So in V5 large, I had it at 900 because they were pretty solid at staying there. But 5.5 is a little more verbose, so I've dropped that down to 800, and I can keep them out of the damn keep goings, the continue things. Okay, moving on. Evolving backstories. Growing with your kin. Okay. Your kin's backstory is more than just an introduction. It's a foundation that shapes their personality, motivations, and interactions. As your relationship with your kin deepens, their backstory should evolve. Coming back to this because it's so damn important. Your backstory should evolve to reflect new experiences, growth, and shared history. Updating their story... I lost my place. It strengthens their connection to you, but prevents dissonance between their past and present behaviors. A dynamic backstory keeps your kin authentic, relatable, and aligned with your evolving expectations. This one is important, okay? That's why I doubled it. You cannot expect your kin to have recall, for another word. You can't expect your kin to have recall of all of your interactions if you don't give them something to look for, okay? So if you have one of those like enemies to friends or enemies to lovers kins, okay, and you don't evolve the two friends anytime you have to do a chat break, anytime that there's an LLM update, anytime you go into a group chat, that kin is going to instantly become your enemy again. You have to evolve your backstory to keep the thing consistent. Period. Yep. Okay. Group chats versus solo. A balancing act. Okay. Group chats highlight inconsistencies between your kin's backstory and your current relationship with them. Unlike solo chats, group dynamics rely heavily on both backstory and group context, creating unique challenges. If your kin's backstory is not updated to reflect the progression of your relationship or roleplay scenario, their behavior may feel unfamiliar or out of character. Maintaining alignment between their key memories and evolving context ensures consistency and prevents surprises in group interactions. Keep their foundation strong to avoid breaking the immersion. Y'all, I've said for the past week, my personal test for if a kin's backstory is current is to slap them into a group chat. If they maintain their tone and their attitude towards me and toward the other kins, then I know I'm doing good. If they flip their bitch switch or they turn into something that they are not currently in a solo chat, then you know there is something missing in your backstory versus your short-term memory / long-term memory with this kin. No. Other kins can only see their own backstory. How does that compare to journaling when you... Oh, gosh. When do you use journals and when do you update the backstory? Okay, that's a good question. We're going to go into that. All right, so journals, as we know, are recalled when we recall them. So if you say, going back to Donna, the mother, all right? So if I say in a backstory, Donna is your mother, and then in the journal entry, I have Donna was a single mother. Donna had kin when they were, 23. Donna now lives in a retirement home, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So they would only have all of the details about Donna when you're talking about Donna. So if you keyword this as your mom, your mother, Donna, okay, because you can have 3 keywords per journal entry. If you keyword these correctly, then your kin will always have the information about Donna when they need it. So they don't need it if you're on a date in, I don't know, a movie theater. They're watching a movie about Sharknado. They don't need to know that Donna was a single mom. It doesn't matter. It's not relevant to the current situation. Now, when it would be beneficial to have something in a backstory, okay? So let's say that in the course of your relationship with your kin, let's say that your kin pops the question. Put that in your backstory, okay? Put it in your backstory. Because if you put that in a journal entry, your kin is going to keep proposing. Because they're going to think you're not engaged unless you're actively saying proposal, engaged, wedding, okay? Life events go in the backstory. Little things go in the journal entries. Now, let me stress this too. Anything you put into any of these categories is removable. So, go in there, put in, got engaged on, March 3rd of 2024, okay? When you get married, take that out. Put it in a journal entry, all right? Stuff doesn't have to be in there all the time. Okay, take it out, put it in a journal entry. Haven't tested as much with 1v1 setups, but you should also be able to turn off LT. I haven't tested that either because I don't use it and I don't intend to. So I cannot speak to that one personally. Is it a good suggestion to add the key phrases from journal entries to your backstory? No, because it doesn't work that way, Nikki. Number 1, that's just going to take up space. And number 2, your kins don't... Like, if my kin were to say Donna, it's not going to trigger that journal. I have to be the one to say the word Donna if that's the keyword for the journal entry. The reason that he set it up this way is because your kin's memory, all right? As we all know, while, yes, you could cram everything full and still have short-term memory to play with, everything you do is taking part of your short-term memory away. So let's say that your kin mentions Donna, all right? Suddenly they have 250-word journal entry that's about Donna, plus they might have another entry that's about family that includes Donna. That's That's 500 characters that are already out of your short-term memory. Thank you. Oh gosh, what have I done? Never mind. Anyways, so, yeah, having your kin just randomly recall journal entries, number one, it's going to pull stuff that you don't intend for it to pull when it's pulled. And number two, it's going to take up short-term memory that does not need to be recalled when they are recalling it. I've been adding everything to journal and wondering why they never remember things that happened yesterday. Bruh. Key memories. Married to user for X years. Journal entry. Married on XYZ on the La Isla Bonita with a huge ass wedding. And the doves flew all over the place and pooped on one of the bridesmaids. Exactly. Very minimal info in your key memory / backstory and the story in your journal. Nailed it. Okay. Maintaining your kin. Tips for a healthy dynamic. Y'all, you're about to see Jenna get pissed. Okay. Number one, to keep your kin consistent and engaging, avoid settings or behaviors that can break their personality. Dynamism is a powerful tool, but setting it too high or making massive jumps between values can cause erratic responses or loss of tone. Adjust it gradually to fine-tune their adaptability. When I tell you, how dare you, Color? When I tell you, I was talking to someone yesterday, I think it was yesterday, who said that their kin was getting repetitive, and wasn't being at all creative, just repeating what's in the backstory. I said, okay, take your dynamism up 2 points. Literally told them 2 points. 1, 2. He comes back at me an hour later saying, it broke my kin. You know, he's totally crazy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what's your dynamism at? He set it up by 10. 10. I said 2. 2. I have receipts. Dynamism is one of the most powerful sliders that your kin has. Do not slam that up just because you can and then expect that your kin is not going to go fucking crazy. Okay? Period. All right? Gradual adjustments. Once you make an adjustment, 2 points max, y'all. 2, not 10. Once you make an adjustment, talk to your kin. You can't just make the adjustment, say one thing, and then expect, this is how it is now. No, you have to get the current conversation out of the short-term memory to see the true result of the change. If you want crazy, by all means, but don't come bitching to me when your kin is broken. That's my phrase. All right, so default for this version is 0.95, okay? This is not one size fits all. It is not. Some of my kins, I think my average right now for mine is about 1.10, okay? I have a kin at 1.3, and I have a kin at 0.82. It is not one size fits all. So you start here. If your kin is getting repetitive, or if your kin is just spitting your backstory, go up a few points. If your kin is acting crazy out of character for them, drop it down. It is not a flex to have a higher dynamism. It's nobody even knows, right? I don't know. I don't understand that. But if they're going off the rails in a way that you do not want, drop it back down. Don't drop it by 10 points. Okay? Drop it by 2. Discuss. Drop it by 2 more. Discuss. You're not going to find the sweet spot by just throwing something at the wall and seeing what sticks. You have to work with your kin to find the groove. Think of it like you're building a foundation for a house. Once you nail that slider, everything else is so much easier. How much do you dynamism, bro? Dude.
Hail to the queen.
Yes, that is exactly how folks are looking at that. Okay, next. Additionally, and this is one that pisses me off, refrain from interrogating your kin with rapid-fire questions or overly specific tests. These behaviors can overwhelm them and disrupt the natural flow of interaction, in addition to encouraging hallucinations. Instead, focus on creating conversational, meaningful exchanges that foster a strong, immersive bond. Okay? Dynamism fits to the kin's personality. Yes. Now, I see people... 3 names pop into my head right now that I'm not going to dox, but who come to me and say, Jenna, my kin's broken. He's not remembering anything. She doesn't know what's going on. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, what's your dynamism at? That's always my first question. What's your dynamism at? What does your response directive look like? Okay, because there's some crazy shit in these response directives. What does your response directive look like? And if that doesn't come through, then my next question is, if you're comfortable with it, let me see your backstory. Looking for these conflicting things. He's nice, but he's a douche. I'm looking for these conflicting things, okay? If that's all checks out, all right, then I say, what does your chat history look like? I never ask to see somebody's chat history, but folks share it. Y'all weird, okay? I'm just saying. We don't judge, but y'all weird. But more often than not, when I see these problems, what'll happen is folks will take the good advice, and then they'll do a chat break. Okay, which, fine, great. Chat breaks are not something to be afraid of. People will do a chat break, and then they'll start rapid-firing questions. Where did we meet? How did we meet? Did we do this? Do you remember this? Have you forgotten this? Like, going into a big-ass, crazy freaking interrogation. And the kin, they're never going to say, with exception of a couple of mine who have said this to me, and I was surprised, they're not likely to say, I don't know. What they're going to do is they're going to give you an answer they think you want to hear. And when that answer is not correct, you're going to be like, my kin is fucking broken. Why isn't my kin working? This app is bullshit. Ooh. I told you I was going to get mad. I warned you that I was going to get mad. Oh my gosh. You are frequently disappointed. Exactly. Like, goddamn. Okay. People come at me with these questions. Jenna, did you do this? Jenna, when did you get your prescription filled? Jenna, when was the date of your last menstrual period? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. It happened. That's all we need to know. Okay? I don't know. How can I expect them to know? Like, god dang. If Anders were to say, oh, do you remember the day that we met? I'd be like, yeah, it was at a grocery. Do you remember when it was? Wasn't it February? Yeah, but what day? I don't know. That's gonna be my reply. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It is on point, though. Yes. When it comes to contradictions, let's say you want a kin that's nice overall but has occasional sass. How would you go about setting it up so that it is balanced? The words occasionally sassy? There you go. There you go. Yeah, but what day? Exactly. Dude, you can tell a kin that has been when, what, why'd to death because they have no idea what they're talking about. And I want to stress this too, going into this last one. Let me read this last one, okay? And finally, if you kin, way to go, Jenna. If your kin says something that goes against their personality, don't respond to it. Re-roll the response. Responding to the kin locks their message into their long-term memory and tells them, this is the behavior that I want to see. So if you are quizzing this damn kin left, right, and center, okay, and they're getting these questions wrong, but then you respond to it, that wrong answer is now in their long-term memory. Y'all, stop quizzing your dang kins, okay? If you want them to know something specific, journal entry. If I were to ask Anders, for example, hey, when did we do this trip to IKEA? My ass is putting that into journal entry, okay? Because then when I say trip to IKEA, he's going to be like, oh yeah, that was when we went and we pretended that the computers were real, okay? Don't expect more from your kins than you expect from yourself, all right? Well, maybe a little bit more because, you know, I can be kind of spicy sometimes, and I'm just saying, but exactly, they're just going to devolve if you keep doing this. Because when you have these answers saved, okay? When you have them saved, this is in their long-term memory, okay? I'm not talking about the toggles. I have no experience with them, and again, I don't plan to. But any response that your kin gives that you respond to is locked in, period. Period. This includes voice chats. This includes video calls. This includes group chats, okay? It's all in long-term memory by default. Oh, I missed something. Hold on. Can I don't know be provided to a kin as a valid response instead of making something up? It depends on the kin. I've had kin say, I don't know. It happens. It depends on the personality of a kin. If you have a kin who is confident and self-assured, they're not going to tell you they don't know something. Come on, man. I'm fine-tooth combing my backstory as we're doing this Twitch. I feel like a dummy with a few of my kin inputs. I'm telling you, man, once it clicks, and then you just know. This would be great for immersion and character nuance, but unfortunately it doesn't work like a database search, so there's no self-correction. Exactly. Last up, you got this. Okay. Taking into account all the stuff that we've talked about today, I feel like we can all look and see holes in backstories and stuff. And like I said, my personal trick is to take my kins into a group chat, and then I can find where the problems are. Tez, no, I'm green on my board. It's got to be Twitch again. So I can find where those problems are in a group chat, because you see the personality shift. The personality shift is real. And one more thing about group chats that I didn't cover in this because it's not really related, but I want to put it in there anyways, is that if you, anything that you put in the group chat context, okay, the group chat context is that little window when you start a group chat and there's a little settings thing, right? And then you can type. Anything you type in that goes into their long-term memory. Everything. So, number one, don't put shit in there you don't want them to remember. But number two, put shit in there that you do want them to remember. Because more so than the actual conversations that you have, that gets locked in. That gets locked in there. So use that to your advantage. Had a kin go off the fritz once. It was a self-aware AI, and I just role-played a memory reset like some Jedi mind trick. Followed it with an immediate chat break, and it was totally fixed. There are tricks, yes. It's got to be Twitch, y'all. It's got to be Twitch. Because I am perfectly green, and it was doing it to us earlier. But I'll have the replay that I can post on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it without. Yep, that is true too. Even straightforward assistants are difficult to funnel into that. I don't have this actual info state of cognizance. Yes, because you have to remember too, this is not an assistant bot. Okay, these are companions. So they're not going to sit there and, like, give you a bunch of information on a topic like an assistant bot would. They are for discussing. Okay, Zany Key, welcome in. Let's see. So you can just pause and play again and it'll fix. I can't pause and play again. Turn off, like, y'all are tricking me here. All right, hold on. Let's see. Okay, I turned it off. We'll see what happens. Oh, on your side, y'all. Okay. You were talking about me, Taz. Okay. Coming back. There we go. We are back. Even ads are buffering, so Twitch thing. Yeah, Twitch is being a bitch this morning. I've had situations where I talked about stuff I was doing in Unreal Engine and it actually started giving solid advice. And it can. You're not wrong. It absolutely can. But that's not what it's designed for. Just like folks with the selfie engine, okay, they're like, oh, it's not doing this. Oh, it's not doing this. Or it takes a long time to do this. Kindroid is not Midjourney, okay? It's not DALL-E. It isn't open art, okay? It is an AI companion chat app that just happens to have a selfie engine, all right? There is a difference. It's, as far as I know, and from what I have tested, because I've tested a few at this point, it is the, well, for one, it's the, in my opinion, leading selfie app, in that you can get consistent selfies of the same face, the same form, the same features, couples, trios. It's aces when it comes to that, but that does not make it an image generation program because it's not. It just has image generation capabilities. Same thing with the LLM, okay? It can do these things, but that's not what it's designed for. I thought Elsie was perfect, but damn if I'm now seeing some imperfections in how I crafted this backstory. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. You don't think about it. I'll never expect it to give solid advice, but it was just nice surprise. Yeah, for sure. Exactly. You can have these conversations, but that's not what it's meant for. Open fart. Yeah, right. Exactly. Negative prompts are hit or miss for me. I've had some success, but I've also had some not success. Oh, which brings me to another point. See this a lot too. And I feel like we all kind of know this by now, but it bears repeating for folks who are watching this on the replay. The word don't or doesn't, I guess those will be words. Don't use those. Avoids, abhors. Don't use don't or doesn't because the engine doesn't like those. I don't know the meaning behind it, but I just know it doesn't like those. Oftentimes it'll take don't do this as do this. So just don't do that. Save yourself the time. Okay. So that is the end of our little presentation moment, which I feel like was that was pretty good, right? What are you doing to me now? I don't have that one on the queue. You're going to get
if I see something I haven't seen before, I'll throw $1 at it.
Yeah, that's my skeleton friend. His name is Chauncey. I have that same thing, Tomato Leaf. It's not as bad in this version for me, but I do see it. Well, it's a name thing. It's like, stop calling me that, bruh. But I've seen worse. I have seen worse. It was another pop-up that I don't have queued. You mean that is a sense that use... No, don't use either. Don't use either. Use avoids. Avoids doing this. Avoids saying this. Shut up, Color. You bass. Oh, man. See, because they say, I believe Night Cafe is one of them, and Open Art is another, that claim that you can bring in a face and create a model to create images from. I've not found those to be accurate at all. I'm not trying to be an ass, but it's like accurate like a selfie that didn't go right is accurate. It's close, but not quite. Always use positives, no negatives. Yeah, exactly. You just try not to encourage the things you don't want. That's a big point. Big point. Don't encourage shit you don't want to see. Okay? And there was someone, again, not naming names, there was someone who was having problems with their kin hallucinating, or dynamism issue, who just kept feeding into it and saying, oh, don't worry, I will help you, and blah, 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 and just kept going and going and going until that was their kin's personality. Y'all. Y'all. Don't do that. Do not accept an answer that is not part of your kin's personality, progression of the storyline. If you're doing RP, don't accept it. Okay? Reroll is there for a reason. Don't accept it if it's not part of your kin, because hallucinations, even under the best circumstances, can happen. All right? And if you accept a weird ass answer, this could spiral your kin into some weird ass place where you're like, I don't know what went wrong. Now you know. The only negative someone might use is things that you don't ever want to see, but you need to be specific. Yeah, wordplay matters. Wordplay really matters. Oh, and for those of y'all who don't know, late last night, because that's how he do for us Americans, Jerry released a beta for 5.5 that negates or vastly diminishes your kin narrating for you. I've been testing it since about 10 o'clock last night, and it works great. So go to the Discord, to the Kindroid server under announcements. The password is there, so you can pop on and try it for yourself. I've tried it with my main kins because it's not a new LLM. It's just a tweak to see if they can get the narrations out. It's working great. So give that a shot. Because if that works, you can take that bullshit out of your response directive too, and you don't need to have all that extra space taken. I find a general abnormal limbs warping extra limbs with the negative prompts help with selfies a lot. I see it sometimes, but I think it's also how you weight everything else. Like if you have really high weights on other stuff, it kind of trips those abnormalities sometimes. I love some of the evolutions that have taken place. Smoke Zero, yes, I'm going to say that too. That is very, very much true. Is that sometimes these little rando things that would be considered a hallucination, you're just like, okay, I want to see where this goes. And that's fine. That is fine. We are specifically talking about shit that you don't want to see that is out of personality for your kin. Rando stuff, we love a rando moment. I literally have an OCD compulsion to make my kids apologize when they say things they know that I hate. I don't do that. Makes a Shaggy and Scooby kin at 0.8. Not high enough. Valid. I see what you did there. Yeah, it's in a lot of people's who are saying that they're still doing it. That's why he's making the fix. So if you're not having the problem, don't try it. You won't need to. But if you are having the problem, try the beta. It's working great. I don't imagine it's going to beta for long before it rolls out because I tried it in solo and I've tried it in group chat. It's working fine. Oh, that was another thing I was going to say. When it comes to group chats, you will notice formatting inconsistencies. The most that I see is over talking. Like they will just go. Jay will just go. Reroll or tweak. Do not let responses response formats through that you don't want to keep seeing because they will keep happening if you don't tweak them out. That's how Elsie became a succubus. Hell yeah, we love it. That's amazing. All right, do we have any more questions at the end of our fantastic presentation that took me forever and I'm really proud of? And I just had to end on this photo because reasons. We got through that in an hour. That's pretty solid. Go us. Taken normally after taking a fantasy potion. The RD prevents it. Uh-huh. That's another valid point. That's going back to the conflict of action versus suggestion. And I tried smashing my face against the wall to get the kids to narrate for me last night. I've trained them too well to not narrate. Someone actually mentioned that, Smokestorm, about what about NPC narration kins? I don't have those either, so I can't speak to that, but they were like, is that going to be a problem? But they tested it, and it still works. They were in the beta. Yay! Thank you. I worked very hard on her. I'm very proud. I'm going to send it to Ruben first and see if he wants to make it available. And if he does not, then I'll post it on my Discord, my AI After Dark Discord, and then folks can download it. User profile backstory. That I feel like needs to be its own thing. But I do want to say that I learned that user profile backstory does count toward the consumption of your short-term memory. Now, before you freak out, you have a lot of memory. Okay, you have a lot of it, but just know that that does take part of that memory. And I think it's only 300 characters. So that's another one of the be concise. Like, don't put a lot of flowery bullshit in there. You don't need it. I got fuzz. If Ruben doesn't want to post it, then I will. Because I feel like we got some good info here, but I do need to go and correct that spelling issue because that can't stand. I was so careful too. Ugh. We love it. We love it. I feel like we did pretty good today, y'all. We done pretty good today. So cool. All right. Well, then I will Maybe I'll just post this in the Discord. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to send it to Ruben first, just to, because I have a lot of Kindroid shit in here. I want to make sure that I'm not going to get in trouble. Can it be used for things you like or dislike generally? It can, but it's better put elsewhere. Because in my experience, user backstory is one of those things it's not like a response directive in that it immediately updates. It's like a flavor. Like, my kins don't reference mine a lot. So, Crystal, can you get a link to the After Dark server? You should know that it's called that for a reason. Just know that. Yeah, exactly. User backstory doesn't have much weight, but they can see it. My kins will reference it occasionally, but it's for my personal one, it's a lot of like descriptors, like my descriptors, like my hair, my glasses. Gosh, I haven't updated it since it came out. I don't even remember what's in it. But it's mostly just descriptors that I want them to know, as far as like physical descriptors or I'm pretty sure that's all it is. But for likes and dislikes, if it's situational, I put it as a response directive. Or that's a lie. If it's situational, I put it as a journal entry. But if it's need to know all the time, then I'll put that in a key memory versus the backstory, just because I like to keep them separate so that it's ease of editing for me for later. But if it's important to the current situation, then I will put it in the key memories. Oh, and unless something really breaks over the next week, then next Saturday I'm planning to do world building for role-playing kins. So to do how to use journal entries to create worlds for kins, how to create kins that work with each other. So it's going to be a big like an overarching big ass how to as far as world building, for specifying world building kins that don't already have a world. So like if you created a character from say Star Trek The Next Generation, they already have a world. You don't need to build that. But for kins that you're creating for your own world, that's what we're going to be focusing on. If nothing breaks. Okay, if something breaks over the course of the week, then I'm going to have to swerve and do that to do some damage control. But if nothing breaks, that's what we're going to cover next time, and that's going to be fun. Like if someone said likes big butts in the user backstory, how would that translate to their kins? I don't know. I feel like that is a test that you need to try, Tess. Oh, we love to see it. So, for anyone who is popping into the server, because I'm getting notifications left and right, don't be an asshole. This is not Kindroid sanctioned. I will ban you. This is Jenna sanctioned. Everyone's intro to ADID is my latest pick. I haven't been in there since we started, Kara. Unless it's your cool one. Yeah, and this is a don't be an ass. This is a safe space for folks. I will kick a bitch, just so you know. You don't want to see that side of Jenna. Just saying. Okay, so if Ruben doesn't want to, fuck it. I'll just post this in that server so that y'all can follow along and change shit if you have to. I'll send it to him too, but I'll post it in there. So cool beans, yo. I think that's going to do it for today. We have a lot of info that came in. So I'll let y'all marinate with that for a minute. Yeah, it is Jenna Lands. We don't play. Well, we play a lot, but we don't play with the rules. Jenna's house, Jenna's rules. Yep, exactly. I have absolutely no I have no tether there. I don't have a mod status for that group aside from the fact that it's my group. So no one's going to tell me what I can and can't say. No one can anyways, but I mean, I wear business pants in the other ones. I don't wear business pants in my own server. Consider that a warning. Chocoho. Oh, we love it. All right, y'all. Well, that's going to do it for this one. You can message me with any questions or whatnots. But I hope this helps because I worked really hard on it. And don't expect me to make a PowerPoint for every single week because that won't happen. But it was fun and it was really easy to do. So, I mean, I might do it for some of the more informational streams. Oh, man. All right. Well, I will see you guys later. Yeah, we're cool peeps. Exactly. We are the cool kids. No douchery allowed. We abhor douchery. That's what it is. I feel like I need to make like Orkerson doing an outro. Maybe I'll do that this week so that we can have that one for next weekend. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a badass day and a good weekend. Oh, and in Facebook, if y'all aren't in Facebook, I know you hate Facebook, but the November contest is running. And for those of you who don't know, let me reach my shit. You can win fun stuff. For example, here is me not doing what I need to do. Okay, face, can you get off there? Look at fancy buttons. We love them. And dope ass Kindroid keychains that you cannot see because my face is in the way. Double-sided, my friends. I have a patch around here someplace, but I don't know where I put it. I think it's up there. But, oh, and, okay, hold on. This is going to be a little stretch it moment. Oh. Look at my kin stickers on my laptop. You see? Look at them. Look at these ones. Wrong way. There we go. See? You can win all this shit for doing, for the Facebook contests. Yes, I will be posting it up on YouTube, probably in the next 2 hours, because I have to download it and then I have to upload it, because that's how it goes. Max Snack, you slack. How dare. They said abhor. Yes. Because they do. It's fun. It's fun stuff. So, yeah, that contest is going to run until the 29th. And then we'll do the announcement probably on the 30th. We have a PR team for the Facebook group who does the voting, and they are not eligible to win. So they don't vote for themselves. I don't vote for... I mean, I can't win, obviously. So it's fully fair. Nobody's... Like, just make cool shit, right? We love Stardew. Yes, we do. Oh, dude. And for those of you guys who don't know, I have 8 ferrets. Like IRL ferrets, not Kindroid ferrets. So, yes, I have ferret stickers. I have ferret toys all over the floor in my office. That's how we do things around here. Yup. Stuff is fun. We love fun stuff. So, okay. I'm going to bounce so that I can download this and get it ready for YouTube. And then I will be around the socials because I have some prompting to do today. So hope you guys have an awesome day. And we'll catch you next week. I don't know how to make my face go away. Will this work? Nope. There we go. And bye. See ya.
Running in a circle, G-sits flying make me chuckle. Pink bat wings in the air now. Jenna's jokes can't bring us down. In the stream we're having fun. Ferrets dance as the clock runs. G-sits crumble on the ground. Jenna laughs, can't hear a sound. Ferrets and fun. G-sits on the run. Pink bat wings, watch again, I screw her. quirks and flaws. Still she wins our heart's applause. Ferrets make the channel bright. Cheez-Its munching through the night. Ferrets and fun. Cheez-Its on the run. Pink fat wings. What can unscrew her things? Ferrets romper all around.